Chip Miller, Carlisle Events, here at Spring Carlisle 2002.
Okay, Chip. How did this all start? How come everybody's here?
Everybody's coming to Carlisle because of a brainchild back in 1973. 1973, we were walking the field of Hershey. We being my partner now, my best friend back then, Bill Miller. And we got to thinking about solving a problem. And the problem was I had a 54 Corvette that really wasn't acknowledged as a collector car back then by the powers that be at Hershey. So thought, well, gee whiz, cars of the 50s and 60s are our love. We were in our late 30s at the time, and made a lot of sense to start up a show for that interest, and that's what we did. We went all over central Pennsylvania. We went a week ahead of Hershey. We came to Carlisle in 1974. We never looked back.
So that first car show was post-war 74. That was a fall show?
Yes. Actually, the whole thing was figured out because of Hershey. We went 1 week before Hershey, which put us at the end of September or the beginning of October. So we were at the end of the season. Everybody's about ready to go into hibernation. They had to get the final parts they needed to work over the winter on their cars, because up here in the Northeast, it snows, usually. Anyway, they take these parts back and they work on the cars over the winter. What happened 2 years later, we decided, you know what, this works so darn well. Now they're coming out of hibernation. They need those final parts to get that car back on the road for the cruise, for the shows, whatever. And so we started Spring Carlisle. And I guess this year we're celebrating 26 years of Spring Carlisle. Ironically, the spring show turned out to be bigger than the fall show. Why that is, I honestly don't know. All I can assume is that there are very few spring shows, very sizable spring shows, but also the hibernation effect. These people are just ready to come out. We decided after the success of our spring show, well, let's go middle of summer. That way we have 3 big shows. Well, summer never really worked quite as well as spring and fall, because summer is the time they want to drive the cars, okay? Spring, they got to finish them up. Fall, they're going to start on them. Summer, they want to be using the cars. So based on that, what we've done over the years is created specialty shows. We started off with a Corvette show in 1982, and that ended up to be so big, so fast, we realized how successful these specialty shows would be. We added all sorts of other specialty shows, and I'll list them. We do import. With import, we've combined replica cars, that means kit cars, home-built cars. Then we went to Chrysler, we've gone to Ford, we've gone to all GM, which means Chevrolet plus everything made by GM. We've gone to truck. I don't know if I've named them all at this point. Oh, custom compact, which are the cars of this generation, and hopefully the next 10 years or so, where the kids are coming in, they're hot rodding the brand new cars, like I used to hot rod the cars back in the 50s. The tuners, they call them, right, exactly. We're known as, we started off as something called the flea marketeers. Now, nobody remembers that, but that tells me that our real focus were the vendors. 27, 28 years later, it's still exactly the same thing. Vendors are number one for us. We know if we have the vendors, they're going to bring the customers. We created something called the Car Corral. I think I was around 76 or so, because we started off with auctions. Then we realized that car corrals might be the way to do it. A car corral is a place where you can come sell a car and you can come buy a car. We put a buyer and a seller together. We don't get in the middle. We don't take a commission. And we have a notary here that takes care of all the paperwork. A lot of cars are sold at Carlisle. Matter of fact, this weekend probably there was 2,500 to 3,000 cars on display available for sale within these fences of Carlisle. How many of them sold? Probably half of them. Well, with 10 shows on the calendar every year, we're always welcoming everybody to Carlisle. And again, don't forget, you don't have to leave the kids and wives at home, guys. Bring them along. It's really a good time.
So this is a 1977 Pontiac Grand Prix that's going to be given away at All GM show, which will be in June 14th to 16th of 2002. This one here, 73 Roadrunner, it's going to be given away at the All Chrysler Nationals 2002. This 84 Corvette Coupe was going to be given away at this year's Corvettes at Carlisle. This is where it started. They, when they were trying to get the Corvette show up and running, they figured, how can we get some people to notice the show? And they said, well, if we gave away a car, people will be interested. Okay, this will be given away at the Import and Kit Car Replica Car show. It's the 84 Mercedes SSK replica cars. A 74 Maverick that'll be given away at the All Ford National in May, the beginning of June.
1948 Anglian, Pro 2. Electric starred headlights, does wheelies, do 40 mile an hour with a fat man on it.
My name is Mark Lenchek, Harrisburg, PA, and this is my third 1960 Buick. I've owned them for 13 years now, although this is only 2 months in my possession. Many people consider these Buicks to be either the most garish or the most stylistic, but it was the last Buick with fins, formal and formidable fins. And the styling cues of the 50s Buick that continued through the 1970s were a diagonal line that ran along the side of the car, usually high in the front, of course, and low in the back. And another Buick styling cue, beginning in the late 1940s, were the so-called Ventaports. This is the smaller of the two Buick lines. Chevrolet had a smaller wheelbase and only had one size car. Buick, Oldsmobile, Pontiac had two different size cars, both in wheelbase and overall weight and length. This has the 364 and a legendary motor as well. The motors in these cars held the GM endurance record for running at redline until the engine exploded because of the so-called nail head design. Nail heads mean it had a smaller valve for less heat generated during flow. And the valves also are vertically oriented, which is a very unusual thing with overhead valve engines. There are a few things quite peculiar to this car from an interior and instrumentational standpoint. And one of them is a removable clock. Now in the Electra series, this isn't empty, it's actually an electric clock with the electrical contacts here. But there is a mirror here. The gauges are actually facing upside down here on the dash, and to adjust to the height of the driver, there's an adjustable mirror. And then this is a speed minder. And you can dial the speed and a buzzer goes off when the speed has been exceeded.
Here we are with Angelo Del Monte of Alegna Productions, and he videotapes a lot of the Carlisle events. And we are now at the Spring Carlisle. We're kind of at the end of a little bit of rain here. We tried to seek shelter in the food court, and I'll let Angelo tell us about the weather here.
Okay, hopefully we can get out and do some shopping again. It looks like the rainstorm that had been threatening all day finally came down, and for about 5-10 minutes we all got wet, and you can see everybody still has ponchos on, but like me and but we're gonna go out and do some more shopping. So this is, I guess, what happens in springtime. And you can the Corvette tapes and the GM also, you can get those on the web at CorvetteVideos.com. That's our website. Legna Productions is the company that makes them, but we sell them on CorvetteVideos.com. This is the place where you want to get all your parts here when you're at Carlisle, and actually these guys are all over the place. So S&S Tools, you want to check them out. We are in Ohio, right? You go to car shows in Ohio?
Ohio, Pennsylvania,
New Jersey. So they always have a big truck and a lot of good stuff for sale. There's the boss, he's hiding over there. So look for Sam, he'll give you a great deal on tools and stuff. So
my name is Don Drabeck. I'm from Buffalo, New York. Here we are at Carlisle, Pennsylvania, enjoying a car show. My car is a 1955 Ford Fairlane. It's a 272 V8 engine, 3-speed on the column. I'm the third owner. It's got 65,000 original miles. The car drove me here from Buffalo with no problems, and looks like it's going to be driving me back home.
Here we are, folks. It's the 26th annual Carlisle event. We're here. The best deal of the day is the 1923 Daily Driver. It hasn't quite made 3 trips because we just got back. It's made 4 trips to town already for beer, and we'll sell you this car right now for $87.50. Come on down.
Okay, my name's Orville Weekly from Front Royal, Virginia, out of the Valley. This is a 65 Super Sport, 396, 325, 4-speed, 10-bolt rear, original. It's driven all the time. If you'd like to drive it away, give me $8,000 and take it home with you.
Hi, my name's Bill Ashton. I'm from Youngstown, Ohio. This is a 46 Mercury convertible.
It has a 350 Chevy in it, 350 turbo transmission. It has a Chevy rear end in it. It's got a Downs front end underneath of it. The car drives real beautiful. You know, you can cruise this car down a highway 65, 70 miles an hour with it, no problems. We've had the car for about a year. It was professionally built, you know, by a gentleman down south. The car is a 57 Lincoln convertible. It's all stock. The car drives real nice. I mean, it's just a base. It's the car itself. You know, it's all basically stock. So there's not a whole lot to tell you about it, actually.
We're waiting so we can't get out of there. The line's up.
All right, now this car here is a 58 Buick Special convertible. This car was built and restored in Arizona. It's a complete frame-off restoration. I mean, they took everything and totally stripped it down and started from scratch. And this is what you see. This is the completed product. And this, again, it's another nice car, you know.
Hi, my name is Mike. These are my two Mercurys. The 55 Sun Valley is a very rare car. It's one of 1,787 built, and then it becomes even rarer because it's got power windows, power seats, power steering, power brakes, rear vent air ducts, and it's got an exceptionally rare air conditioning, which is located in the trunk, and it blows out through the back seat through plastic vents. It's pretty well loaded up. It has spotlights, spinner, wheel discs, Continental kit, power steering, power brakes, power seats. There isn't much the car hasn't had. Probably deluxe steering wheel would be another option, and running lights. Glass tops are very, very rare. This car with all the options is probably one of 10 left out of probably 50 that was fully optioned. The reason these weren't that successful was they were mostly produced for the California climate, and it was way too hot. When you got in there, it was almost like you were cooking in there if you did any amount of highway driving. You had your windows down. If the air conditioning worked, it helped, but it wasn't like the new air conditioning. This car I've had since 1995. It has no power steering, no power brakes. It's a rare car. I restored it frame up. It's got a rare third seat. This interior, they don't reproduce the 55 Monterey or Montclair interior. So this is the correct pattern. It's a 50s interior, very close to what it should be, but not exact. Tell your people not to restore a 55 Mercury. Taillight lenses are $135. Backup lights are $100. The list just goes on and on. It's easier to do a regular Mercury.
My name is Paul Oldham from Harrisburg. I bought this car 2 years ago from a co-worker. It's been in Harrisburg for 12 years. I didn't do none of the work. It was all done. It's a 1962 T-Bird 390 cubic inch, 340 horsepower, power windows, power steering. Original color was white. This is called Diamond Blue. It's my Sunday car. I take it out for fun, get a lot of attention.
Well, my name's Joe. I'm from Ontario, near Niagara Falls. This is the 1965 replica Cobra, of course. It's made by West Coast. It's got a 427 Chevy in it. A lot of the Ford enthusiasts don't care for that, of course. However, it does run good. It's got the aluminum heads, camshaft. It's coupled up to a Muncie 4-speed.
This is going to be a lot of fun to drive, I think.
Well, like the kids say, it's awesome.
The current owner right now has owned the truck for just over 2 years. He's done a restoration to it, cosmetic restoration on the outside. Rust-free truck, originally from Georgia. Big back window. It's an optioned out truck, originally with factory air conditioning, 327 automatic transmission, custom cab, which is an option package.
Oh, I'm Jerry Jan Baldwin, but I'm really Jerry Jan. That's about all that ever is needed for my name. It's an Annabelle. And Annabelle, John Annabelle's a 55 Rambler. 1978, Annabelle had all of 33,000 original miles. Now, in 2002, Annabelle's miles are 35,803. She is the custom trim level, which gives her, the Continental kit, gives her a little bit of extra trim. Actually gives her 2 visors instead of 1. The custom trim level gives it a little extra chrome on the side too. The upholstery is a little bit more fancy in the custom. These are also in the 4-door. They were the bed seats. They fold completely down into beds. Now, if the seat were moved forward, what are we catching on here? Oh, this cardboard. But all right, in any case, they'll drop down into a bed. And you've got the mattress. So this is the junior version of the Nash travel car. Actually, at Annabelle's age, 55, the mattresses would have been blow-up. They come with a tube and you puff them up. So that's actually a 52 and 53 mattress. But it still has the same effect. We use them when we go from show to show. Because, I mean, after all, it is a travel car.
So, of course, earlier we saw the old cars truck go by with Kenny Botofen, and here he is here after a long day of looking around the Carlisle, seeing many, many cars. And you were supposed to be retired. I thought you were supposed to,
Well, I was working in the trailer all day today.
Oh, okay, so you're not retired at all?
Well, I'm retired, but I was hired to come out and cover the show for him.
So there's no rest. It's always work.
No rest for the wicked. People ask me what I'm going to do when I retire, and I say the same thing as before, but I won't feel guilty. A lot of people like the policy that I have, that if you come in late, you leave early to make up for it.
So how many cars? How many years were you with old cars?
I started part-time in 1972. And then I've been full-time for 21 years.
Excellent. And they said you had how many cars have you had?
About 60. Oh, about 500 I've had.
Yeah.
I got about 60 now.
Oh wow. That's still a whole lot there.
Yeah.
And you must have had just about every make you can imagine. I mean,
I've had a lot, but there's some that I really like, and then I've had a lot of them. I've had 20 1956 Cadillacs, and I've had 19 Metropolitans. And then, of course, I've had a lot of Chevys and Buicks and Oldsmobiles and Kaisers and Hudsons and a few Ramblers and a few Studebakers and a couple of Chryslers here and there and a few Dodges, and so everything. Not had too many Fords or Mercurys or Lincolns, although I have had some.
If you had to pick, like, I don't know, top 5 favorite cars that you just, if you had to narrow down your collection, just 5 cars or something.
Oh, I have a 57 Corvette that I like to drive occasionally. And like I say, I have a 56 Cadillac that I like. And I have a 31 Cadillac Coupe. And that's a neat car. And I don't know, I've got a 56 Chevy station wagon that I've had forever. And it's been out here to Carlisle and Hershey years ago, and I still got it.
And they mentioned that you have a lot of, like, you don't mind having a daily driver car. It doesn't have to be show quality. You have a lot of cars that you just get out and
get in and drive them.
Yeah.
I have one like this Buick, same color. Very nice one. And I don't know, I just have a lot of different kinds. And I always feel that the fun of owning a car is to drive it and enjoy it. And so I drive all over the country with them, get enough for the parts that you think it may need, get those rounded up, and then go.